It is like a week and a few days before I need to submit my registration report, so just under 2 weeks. So it is, yeah, Monday 19th of June. And I haven't like actually spoken to the camera for a very long time, but I think it's worth talking about my last week and maybe the week before that as well. But it's definitely been up there in terms of like difficulty during my first year as a PhD student. I think that there were some really difficult times in my first and second term, and they were mostly about busyness and an inability to manage how much I had, or maybe not an inability, like I think I managed it well, it was just still relatively overwhelming. However, I do feel like in the last week I literally just broke, not in terms of how much I had on, but what I had on and how equipped I had felt to deal with that. I'm gonna mute my computer. I'm gonna use my phone to like look at my calendar and remind myself of what has actually happened. But essentially reflecting on the first 2 weeks of June, the first week was, yeah, it was cool, it was busy. In fact, no, it was ridiculously busy. So my partner came down and that was really, really nice. However, I felt like I wanted very badly to ensure I was giving him my time and recognizing like how much he traveled to be here, and just that I'm in a long distance relationship, so I don't get to see him all the time. But I guess I had loads of work to do nonetheless. So that coincided with things like, or the weather just starting to get really warm. Basically, during the time he was around, I still had things going on, particularly on the Friday with my supervision group. And that was all done very much like while it was just really hot. So I felt like I was cycling to the department and back, and then to the train station and back, and then also trying to take in like all the content I was learning on that day whilst like boiling. So that was just a lot. I think what was then difficult was that same weekend there was a symposium or conference, whatever you want to call it, and that was on Saturday and Sunday. And that was really important for me because I was on some panels, because it focused on class within higher education specifically, which is what I'm doing my PhD on. So I did really want to go. However, it was on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday. The panels were an hour and a half long and I contributed to many of them. Also got to see loads of people I care about who are also interested in that work. So once again, just felt like I was being pulled in all directions. I was like cycling back and forth, and I was also just spending a lot of my time doing that. So things would start at like 9 a.m. And to be fair, things would finish before dinner time, but I'd find myself like talking to people for a really long time. So that was my Saturday and Sunday, and I guess it was just really difficult to go into Monday feeling like I had to start all over again. And I didn't necessarily have any real rest time or any real weekend, but wasn't confident enough in my ability to like just take 2 days off at another point. So that was a lot. I then went into what was essentially last week, so the 12th of June, and I can't remember Monday. I guess I just worked, I imagine. I'm sure I have recorded that and can speak to that. Tuesday was quite busy and there were a lot of meetings. Oh yeah, Monday and Tuesday I had dinner. So that again felt like when I wanted to end my day I couldn't, because I'd committed to like dinners in the evening and was just cycling to those. I think Wednesday was a good day, but a busy day. Again, I really cannot remember everything. But what I know for sure is that Thursday I completely broke. That was really shit. Essentially, I had probably a panic attack in the like computer room in the library. I knew it was coming, or I knew I was feeling shit, and I kept blocking those emotions and really trying hard to kind of push through it and strive through it. But I did just like burst into tears uncontrollably and then had to like run to the toilets to basically catch my breath. What I guess I didn't record, because I did record bits, and I recognise I was just trying so hard to be silly and funny during that, But what I didn't record is that a friend did comfort me, and that was really, really valuable. And I guess I want to recognize like that there are wonderful people around who are able to support me. I also spoke to my partner, who was incredibly supportive. So like I am well taken care of. I want to acknowledge that. The reason I was frustrated was because I felt like no matter how hard I tried, I really couldn't get it and didn't know what I was doing. And I kept trying to return to my work with a really positive mindset, but felt like I was going nowhere. Like it just felt like this complete block. And my frustration came from the fact that I was genuinely trying. So I just felt really, I guess, drained after that is probably the most I can say. But that happened nonetheless. And yeah, I don't know, it's not really a thing like I enjoy acknowledging. Like I definitely have some really unhelpful ideas, or yeah, I have a very unhealthy mindset when it comes to things like perfectionism and expectations on myself and self-esteem, and where I feel like I gain my self-worth. But it's important to acknowledge that I was overwhelmed, that I did have that emotional response to it, and that I'm trying to keep going no matter what. I think what's been really frustrating is in people trying to comfort you, they're like, oh, can you take a break? Can you do this? What can you do instead? And what has been causing me stress, concern, anxiety, like whatever term you feel is most appropriate, is a thing I have to address. Like I can't actually run away from it, and I don't intend to. But it feels like I am coming across as maybe stoic, maybe indifferent, when I'm just like, I just have to do it. Can't run away from it. So all I can do is face it and acknowledge that right now it's not fun facing it. Most of the year, it's actually been fun. I really like what I'm doing. I just haven't coped with it well recently in terms of my emotional response to it, my ability to reach out for help or ask for help. And I will, I don't know what I'm going to do going forward. I think I'm just, again, like, I think my way of tackling issues in the past have been tackling issues. Like, you just do it and you accept you have to. But I'll have a think about the ways in which I can talk more candidly to my supervisor about how I'm feeling and what I feel I can handle, or perhaps talking to like my mentor via the Disability Resource Centre. So that was that. What can you do? What happened after? That was what, Thursday? Friday was completely different. I still think I was feeling like fragile, but I went to LSC for a really good talk that was taking place as part of the LSC Festival of Ideas. That had some really good speakers. I really do feel very aligned with LSE in terms of their sociology department, their focus on class. Of course, an institution that focuses on economics and social sciences is going to look at things like social class. So I really enjoyed it. I then went to watch a play with my friend, and that was in the evening. And I was kind of like, maybe I could sit in a cafe, but I was like, I'm in LSE already. Like, no one, they let a whole load of people in. They weren't checking our cards, or like, I don't have an LSE card, but they were letting people in for the event. So I was in the building anyway. And then I was like, let me just work here. So I worked on some seats for a bit, and then I worked in a room. And yeah, I think I really actively tried to make myself feel better, feel, I don't know, I guess like proud of myself for trying. Feel like I had a right to take up that space, feel like I had a right to be in that academic space, even though I spent a lot of the day reading this economic stuff that I really could not understand or feel like I'm struggling with. I had a good day, and I tried very much on that day and even on the weekends to reclaim spaces. I don't know if that's the right term, but you know, feel at home in spaces, feel like I have a right to be in places, even if I feel like some of the work I'm doing isn't going in or isn't coming so naturally to me. This is me manifesting my future role as a professor at LSE. So that was good. Watched the play, which was so good, so funny, so important. The play was called My Uncle Is Not Pablo Escobar. It was written by a group of Latinx young women, and like gender non-conforming people. Yeah, it was just so good. It was such a good story, so important, so many funny moments nonetheless. And yeah, it's fantastic. So got to watch that, got the train back to Cambridge. Sunday, I'm sure I recorded it, but it was mostly working and taking breaks when I can. So I don't really have any key learning points, and really I just wanted to speak to that in particular, but shit is hard. I don't think the PhD itself is hard or unenjoyable. I think I'm just encountering things that are difficult. And I think I could be in any job, I could be in any space. And if I hit that kind of wall, I think I would be just as frustrated. I think I have a big complex about not being able to do things, which I can definitely unpack at another point. But I hate the idea of feeling like I can't do something no matter how hard I try, particularly a thing I want to do and I'm trying to do. So that was just difficult, but we move. I've got 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks really, and tomorrow I've got like a work day where I'm going to be working with my friend for most of the day, so that will give me focus and that will feel nice. And then Wednesday is a busy day with my doctoral training partnership cohort, so that'll be fun. And then I've got supervision on Thursday. On Friday I might go home. That's the plan. I'll keep going with this recording thing. Maybe I'll upload things one day, who knows. But I am grateful if you watch this. Thank you for listening. Oh, it's so weird.